This manga is about a rich entitled girl who is a narcissist and thinks she's above everyone. She has a childhood friend whom she constantly bosses around. But one day he reaches his boiling point and straight up tells Haruto F off. Meet Takayashi Rua, who is anything but normal. Currently she is one of the most popular idol in Japan and is on top of her career. Not only that, she is also the granddaughter of a business tycoon named Takayashi Teizo, whose corporation, named the Tekai Corporation, have a significant political and economic hold in Japan, similar to how Samsung operates in South Korea. Basically, she has her wealth levels maxed out and people call her a princess because of her cute looks. In stark contrast, our protagonist Suzuki Kazuma is a total loner who looks gloomy and has no friends. His social life is just like my girlfriend, non-existent. In simple words, he is an ordinary loser. His identity revolves around being the childhood friend of the great Takayashi Rua, and there is no other defining trait about him. His whole life was spent under Rua's shadow. But unlike her, he doesn't want to be special and have the spotlight on him. It's quite the opposite. He just wants to live a normal life, have some friends, and if he's lucky, get a girlfriend. One day he expressed these desires to Rua, and her reply was truly sickening. She told him he was an idiot and asked if he has looked himself in the mirror. Basically, she told him there's no way a loser like him can pull that off. If that wasn't enough, she reminded him that his only value was being her childhood friend, and other than that, he was a complete nobody. This is the type of stuff he grew up hearing from Rua since he was a little kid. Her every word felt like a curse to him that he couldn't shake off. But still, he kept on dreaming about living an ordinary life. That was until the spring of his first high school year, when everything changed for him. Kazuma was in his room, locked in for his English quiz, when he received a notification on his phone. He picked up his phone and saw it was a message from Rua, telling him to come to the station because she is going to karaoke with Ayachi and other friends. He didn't know who Ayachi was, but then he remembered she is a flashy gyaru who is also popular just like Rua, but they haven't really talked to each other. She then reminded him of his desire of getting a girlfriend and hinted that she was setting him up with Ayachi, but our boy was dense than a brick, so he couldn't take the hint. She continued messaging him and told Kazuma today is your lucky day because if he joined the popular group, he is good to go. The last message filled him with motivation and he decided to look smacks, so he could look presentable in front of the group. He went to a clothing store and bought the flashiest clothes possible. After that, he visited a salon and got himself a fresh haircut. He then reached the station and opened the door of the karaoke room where Rua was sitting. This was the brand new, elevated version of our boy Kazuma, who was ready for a change and live his life. However, when he entered, everyone in the room, including Rua, started laughing at him. They started mocking him for actually showing up, and one of them ridiculed him for getting a haircut. Even the girls started insulting him, and Oniof girls said he smells like a salon he went to before coming here. Rua joined them as well, and with a mocking tone, she told them not to laugh because he had tried his best to look good for them. Kazuma immediately realized why he was invited here. Rua called him so she and her friends could clown on him and have a laugh. She then got up and bet 10,000 yen that she could make him cry on the spot. Rua then got closer to him and asked, "What's the matter?" in a meek voice. Kazuma asked if I did something wrong. Something so terrible that would justify this type of treatment from her towards him. With a disgusting look on her face, she told him it's because you are my slave. She then mocked him even more and told Kazuma to entertain her in front of her elite friends. She continued spitting venom and said, "I hate that we are childhood friends." In that very moment, something inside Kazuma broke and he snapped. He was no longer able to hold back. He straight up told her, "I feel the same." He took it one step further and added that he wants to cut all ties with her. Rua was stunned to speak and froze like Elsa. She got angry and asked who gave him the right to say all that nonsense to her. But Kazuma fired back saying, "You said it yourself that you hated it." But she started acting like an entitled brat and told him to quit spouting that nonsense. Kazuma just kept looking at her and wondered how a person like her who is rotten to the core can be world's top idol. In that moment, he realized this world is messed up for celebrating a person like her. He got tired of her yapping, so to shut her bitch ass up, he slammed his hand on the table and walked away saying, "Goodbye. Don't ever talk to me again." And while leaving, he told Rua that he meant every single word he said. She just stood there and couldn't believe what she just heard. Her friends thought Kazuma was just being overly sentimental. One-off beta simps called him a loser and said, "Stop trying to act cool. It's cringe, bro." Meanwhile, the girl sitting next to him told Rua to forget about a gloomy loser like him. Ayachi noticed the cash on the desk, but then saw the cracks beneath it and asked, "Who broke the desk?" The girls wondered if Kazuma was the one who broke it by slamming his hand onto the desk, but the boys denied it and thought it was already broken. And if someone broke it just by smashing their hand on it, they wouldn't be a normal human being. As they were talking, Rua just stood there angry about what happened a few moments ago. With tears in her eyes, she screamed, "There's no way I'll accept it. Serves you right, bitch." After coming out of the room, Kazuma felt as if a heavy burden was lifted from his shoulders. He took a deep breath and realized everything around him looked brighter than usual. He asked himself, why was I living under that girl's shadow all this time? He would prefer to live his school life by himself, rather than bowing down to someone like Rua. From now on, he is going to live his life on his own terms since he is free now. That night in the Takayashiki mansion, the chairman of Tekai Group and the headmaster of Tekai Academy, Takayashiki Teizo, was going through some business documents. Rua's cousin, Takayashiki Sakura, was also present beside him. Suddenly, Rua entered the room and started complaining that Kazuma was so mean to her today, and he even wanted to end their friendship forever. Sakura asked if it was true and wondered if he was just messing with her. She confirmed and says Kazuma never spoke to her like that before. Sakura then looks at Rua and asked if she did something horrible to him that made him end their friendship. She quickly denied it and explained that she only told Kazuma that he was her slave and she hated being childhood friends with him. That's all she said. Upon hearing that, Sakura told her those were terrible things to say to someone. Even her grandfather agreed with her cousin. Rua justified herself, claiming it wasn't serious, and she only wanted to tease him a little bit. She says it was all Kazuma's fault since he talks about wanting friends and a girlfriend ever since. Entering high school, Sakura thinks it's completely normal, but Rua yelled, "It's not normal." She added that he is world's cutest princess by his side, and yet he wants to be friends with other people, especially girls. "There's no one in the entire world who understands him better than me. It's because I love him." Those were the words of Rua, and after hearing them, her grandfather changed sides faster than my viewers hitting the subscribe button and agreed with her. Sakura suggests if she wants to make up with him, an apology is the best solution. But Rua wasn't having it and said there's no way she would do it. She then asked Sakura to make Kazuma apologize to her, since she was his mentor, and told her to fix the situation. Furthermore, after the apology, she wants Kazuma to kiss her as well. At the last request, Sakura smiled and thought a kiss might be too much. She then asked Rua's grandfather whether he wants Kazuma as her husband. He agrees and acknowledges his talent. That's precisely the reason why he placed Sakura as his mentor, since he wanted Kazuma to know martial arts and leadership skills. Furthermore, Rua likes him, and that's another reason to have him as an heir to the Tekai Corporation. Sakura agreed with him and said she has never seen someone as talented as Kazuma. She explains that he always got straight threes in the elementary school, and he was an outstanding student, but he intentionally scored average grades to blend in with the rest of the students. Bro did all this so he could remain under Rua's shadow. If he never held back, not only he would have gotten the best scores in his school, he might have become the top student in all of Japan. Also, he was a Chad and had that unspoken riz. No wonder all the girls had a major crush on him. Sakura says she has lost count of how many girls she had to transfer due to this reason. Since this was the case, Kazuma never realized how popular he was among girls. This boosted Rua's ego, and she said, "That's because he belongs to me." After hearing that, her grandfather thinks Kazuma is the right heir for his Tekai group. But Sakura remained quiet and thought he had no reason to hold back. Since he has cut all his ties to Rua, she wonders how he is going to perform in academics, sports, and even in romance now that he is free. The following day, students in the hallway are gossiping about how a person named Suzuki Kazuma defied Princess Rua. When our boy entered the class, he sees his desk and chair taped together with a note saying, "No seat for you, loser." He knew who was the person behind this action. He had an idea of how despicable his childhood friend was. But now he's sure that the top idol and princess of the Tekai Academy is the worst kind of human being on earth. He then channels inner Ayano Koji and analyzes the surrounding saying. In this situation, there are two options. Number 1. Return the chair and desk to their usual position and attend the remaining classes as usual. Most student would choose this option, just like a bitch. Number 2. Go to the staff room and complain to the teachers about this incident. But that is also a bitch move. Furthermore, this is Tekai Academy we are talking about, an institute with the goal of cultivating S-class talent and make this the best academy in the entire world, which is why the public calls it the S-class Academy. Top-level students from across Japan were offered scholarships and residence here. The talented students were known as the upper class, while the rest, which was mostly made up of ordinary people, were called lower class. This academy operated on the caste system, which sometimes publicly and sometimes subtly discriminated and controlled the school. Sitting on top of this hierarchy was the school idol and self-proclaimed princess, Rua Takayashiki, who was also the granddaughter of the Tekai Academy's headmaster. So of course their bald homeroom teacher was very lenient towards her. Even if she smacked his shiny bald head, he won't do anything. so option number 2 was out of question. He wonders if he should choose option 1, since that's the most appropriate in the situation. But then he says, "Fuck that!" And like a real G, he chooses option number 3. He whips out his pen and writes, "I'm leaving to study on my own. This is a direct command from Miss Takayashiki, so I would appreciate if you didn't mark me absent. Suzuki Kazuma." His classmates whispered if it's okay to do that and wondered if he didn't fear Princess Rua. But Kazuma quietly leaves the room. As he was walking, he thought it would be troublesome if someone found him, so he decided to stay underground. Our boy then opened a secret door which leads to a library so secret that even the teachers and top-level students aren't aware of its existence. One of his seniors from the library committee told him about this place, and he often used to come here in between classes. Kazuma just wanted to live a normal life, but it would be impossible to do that now, since he has defied Princess Rua. He then grabs the door handle and enters the room, but there he finds a girl who was changing clothes and revealing her Victoria's Secrets as if she was sponsored by them. Upon seeing Kazuma, she gets flustered and lets out a loud scream. At that moment, our boy didn't realize that his attempt to live a normal life would begin with his interactions with girls who are anything but normal. Furthermore, from now on his day couldn't be called normal anymore. On the other hand, Rua was in Delulu land and was waiting for Kazuma to come back, begging her to forgive him. She then goes onto her stream on YouTube and greets her 1.9 million beta simps, with the title of the stream being, "Princess Rua Lays Down the Law, Know Your Place." Today she is going to yap about the stuff that has been annoying her lately. Rua explains that a few days ago she went to karaoke with some classmates, girls of course, because according to her boys scare the crap out of her. She yaps about how a person there was a total vibe killer and even left the room, which ruined everyone's evening. Rua then addresses her loyal simps and tells them to not do something like this if they are ever in this type of situation, because this ruins the mood. One for all and all for one. That's how it works. She then announces a big news and tells Shayha's gotten a new gig. Her and a new voice actress are collaborating and will be releasing a CD soon. Furthermore, this voice actress has the same agency as her, and surprisingly they even go to the same school. They will debut the new track and live a concert which will take place in Shine Mall 2 weeks from now. She tells everyone to join them because the tickets for the concert are going to be free. She then signs off and we see a bunch of losers in the comment section simping for her. One of the commenters said, "We stand by Her Highness no matter what." The other one targeted the new voice actress that was being paired up with Rua and said, "Don't pair her with someone who drags her down. Her agency needs to treat Princess Rua better." Back at the secret library, Kazuma was standing in front of the door and apologized for barging in like that. He then introduces himself to the girl, who apologizes for raising her voice earlier. She introduces herself as Amane Minato. This is the girl who is getting paired up with Rua for the concert, like a fine gentleman. He takes the blame for not checking first and asked if she heard about this library from a senior as well. Turns out that's exactly how she found out about this place. After fixing herself up, she apologizes for making him wait outside the room and tells him he can come in now. Kazuma then took a quick glance and asked why she was wearing gym clothes. Better yet, why she was changing her clothes here in the first place. Minato explained she was looking for a place to practice her singing and dancing. Then she remembered this underground library that her senior Onsen mentioned, so she came here. She reveals that she's a voice actress and is going to perform in a live concert, which is going to take place 2 weeks later. Kazuma commented, "So you're in the performing art tracks." Turns out this wasn't a big deal since the Tekai Academy is full of artists and the girl standing in front of him just happens to be one of them, just like his childhood friend. He then notices a bottle-length mirror behind, showing how dedicated she is to her practice. He then asks, "What about your class?" Embarrassed, she tells him about how this morning her desk was placed in the hallway, with a note that said, "No seat for you." Kazuma realized this is exactly the same situation he found himself in before coming down here. No wonder Minato had tears in her eyes a few moments ago. Suddenly, his phone vibrates, and he decides to see what's up. It was Rua, and she was sending him messages one by one saying, "Where did you go?" She then asked if he saw her video and told him everyone was roasting you in the comments. In the next message, she threatened to leak out his name if he didn't come back and apologize to her. Without any hesitation in his eyes, he instantly blocked her. Back to Minato, he asks her why she is going to such lengths. Furthermore, she is a talented student and even has a scholarship, but she quickly denies it, saying it's not true. Although she is a voice actress, she isn't popular at all. Both her face and her voice aren't anything special. Kazuma replied, "What are you talking about? I can't see your face because of the bangs, but your voice sounds pretty cute." He added that she sounded like a rolling bell, which was really pleasant and memorable to hear. Minato was flattered by his words and starts blushing immediately. She turned around and said it's not true. In the world of voice actors and idols, there are people with far better voices than hers. Also, compared to someone like Ryutaka Yashiki, she is nothing, but lucky for her, she got a chance to work with her, which is why she has been getting harassed and receiving negative comments on her social media. Kazuma can't help but think about Rua's fans as awful people. Yes, pigs really do attract pigs. He asked Minato how she ended up getting paired with that pig in the first place. Hearing Kazuma referring Rua as pig confused Minato. She asked what he meant by that. He apologized, saying it was an accident, and told Minato he was talking about Ryutaka Yashiki. She quickly moves in and tells him to stop saying bad things about Rua. Minato then warned him not to badmouth Rua in school because it can be dangerous. He calmed her down and told her there is no one around them, so it's okay to do so. Upon calming down, she reveals that it was her agency's decision to pair her with Rua. Since they attend the same school and are signed to the same agency, they decided to pair someone as gloomy as her with Rua, so she can have all the spotlight, essentially making her a background character. Minato's words were harsh, and he couldn't help but think she was being too hard on herself. It must be because she was signed to the same agency as Rua, which was owned by the massive Tekai group, and those dirtbags would do anything in their power to benefit her. His mind immediately goes towards this morning's chair incident with Minato. He thinks it was Rua's idea because both she and her agency couldn't stand pairing her up with someone beneath their level. Just as was thinking all this, Minato told him she was okay with being background support. She added that for someone like her, this was a rare opportunity. So she wants to give it her all, and at the least, not drag anyone down. She didn't want to become a burden. Kazuma looked at her and asked if that was her reason for practicing so hard. And she said yes. He smiled and said, "It's pretty cool of you." He came up with an idea and told Minato that he would keep her company during her practice, but he could only give her feedback from an amateur perspective. Kazuma then extended his hand towards her and asked if it was okay with her. With a cheerful smile, she grabbed his hand and thanked him. At that moment, he noticed something. Up close, Minato looks way cuter than his pig childhood friend. Later that day, he was going through the school hallway. He bought 2 water bottles because he worried that Minato might get dehydrated after her non-stop practice since morning. That when he heard a voice telling him to wait. It was Ryutaka Yashiki. She asked where he was and what the hell he was doing skipping classes. He then looked at her with a face saying,
"Oh shit, here we go again."
She asked him why he was ignoring her. Also, "You blocked me on Messenger," she said. Looking at Kazuma, she told him no one is allowed to ignore Princess Rua, like a true narcissist. She thinks her beauty is too much for him to handle, and maybe that's why he can't directly look at her. "Could it be that you are embarrassed?" she said. Like a real G, he stayed silent and walked away from her. But then one of her lackeys grabbed Kazuma's shoulder and asked why he was straight up ignoring her. He told him it was super disrespectful towards Rua. Taking a closer look at the boy's face, Kazuma quickly realized his name was Asano, and he was baseball club's promising scholarship student. He then wonders if Ho has nothing better to do than follow Rua around like a puppet. Maybe he should learn a thing or two from Minato-chan. Asano got angry and asked, "What's with that look? You got a problem or something?" He got angry and was ready to throw a punch and said, "Say something." But just as he attacked Kazuma, he started doubting himself because after throwing the punch, he didn't hit anything. He was just swinging like a drunk uncle at a family barbecue. But then he felt an ominous presence behind him, as if he was just a mere mortal next to it. With a shocked look on her face, he wondered what just happened. "When the hell did he get behind me?" Asano said. The students in the hallway started mocking him. Some of them even called him lame. Kazuma then starts gaslighting him and tells him to hit the gym a bit more. Furious, he gets ready to throw another punch, but Rua stops him dead in his tracks. He then looks back and says, "Your Highness?" She puts him in her place and tells him that only she is allowed to mess with Kazuma. "You only get to mess with him when I say so." She then points her finger towards him and tells him to know his place. Kazuma then looked at Rua and asked if she felt cool after saying all that garbage. He then tells her to listen up and says, "There is no one in this world who's allowed to harass or bully anyone." With a cold expression he says, "Especially not when it comes to me." He then walks past Rua and tells her to leave him alone. Her knees felt weak and she stumbled to the ground. The students around her asked if she was alright. She fumbled a bit and said, "That was really cool." It's been 1 week since that incident, and Minato has been practicing diligently since then. During today's practice, her foot stumbled and was about to fall down, but Kazuma swooped in and held Minato in her arms like Prince Charming. This makes her blush and she thanks him. But like real G, he says, "Don't even mention it." She then calls him amazing, because every time she was about to fall, he was always there to protect her. But he thought it wasn't special at all. She then sincerely thanks him for his constant support and starts blushing. He was stunned after hearing those words, because no one had ever shown him gratitude for anything. He then returns back to the topic and advises her not to spin back to the center. Instead, he wants her to walk back to the stage instead. Kazuma then asks if she always loses her balance on this part, because if it happened, it's going to look terrible on stage. He then thought for a moment and came up with an idea. He said, "Why don't you jump back in one move? It'll stand out more." Minato said it's impossible because the distance to center from where she is standing is at least 5 meters. He said it's not complicated and proceeded to jump high in the air while performing the move. Minato is shocked to see this and doesn't know how to react. He then lands and says, "It's pretty easy." Minato was too stunned to speak and utters the words, "It's not possible." She asked how he did that and said normal people can't do this type of stuff. Minato thinks he must have had top grades in physical education, but he quickly denies it and tells her that his grades were perfectly average since middle school. She looks at him surprised and couldn't believe it. He then notices her hunched posture and thought that might be the reason why she couldn't spin. She acknowledges it and says she has never been able to fix it. Even her choreography coach scolded her on it. He thinks for a bit and tells her to use the bad posture in her favor using cat-like movements. He then urged her to keep this posture and keep dancing this way. She did as Kazuma suggested and kept hitting all the dances with her slouch posture. This activated the kawaii effect, and it was working on our boy Kazuma. He couldn't believe how adorable she looked. Minato got exhausted from doing all the dance moves, but for some reason, everything was starting to come together now. He thinks it's great and asked her to tell the costume designer to make cat ears and a tail for her. But then she remembered she is just a background character in Rua's performance and got sad. It was her concert after all, and her job is to make Rua shine, not outshining her. Kazuma is left speechless and asked if she is okay with that. She explained that her real goal is to become a voice actress and voice anime characters. With that being in mind, she will give it her all to become the best voice actress possible because that will open more doors for her. Kazuma understood her main goal now and couldn't believe how positive she was as a person. Minato looked like as if she was glowing while talking about her passion. He can tell she really likes her work. She then asked Kazuma what he wants to do in the future. He thought for a bit and told Minato that he wanted to live an ordinary life. He didn't need to be anything special. He just wants to live a proud life with a bright smile. She told he can do whatever he wants. Even if it meant becoming an ordinary person, she was sure he would excel at it. He awkwardly smiled to her compliment and thanked her. This was Minato's first time seeing Kazuma smile, and that made her blush a little. She then remembered something and asked about the rumors regarding Rua's fight with him. She thought it was because of her. He assured her it wasn't because of her. "But you and Rua-san are childhood friends, right?" She then asked if he was in a difficult spot because of her, but he tells her it's not like that. For starters, he doesn't consider Rua as his friend anymore, so she doesn't need to worry about her. It doesn't matter what she does now. She then gets closer to Kazuma, and it looked like she was about to confess her feeling. But just as she was going to express herself, the library door slams open. It was Rua Takayashiki, and she was looking absolutely pissed. With a disgusting expression, she asked Minato what she was doing with Kazuma in such a cramped place. She heard that he was in the hidden library and came to check it out. "But what the hell is this?" She points at Minato and asked what is he doing with the trash voice actress like her. Unlike her, she isn't popular at all. She kept disrespecting Minato and called her an idiot, crap and stupid. Minato was shaken by Rua's cruel remarks. But since she was at the bottom of social caste system, she remained quiet. She goes on and asks if the reason for his constant disappearance is because he was meeting her in a place like this. Rua asked why he would go out of his way to be with someone ugly, hopeless, and gloomy like this girl. But then she starts crying and says, "No way, I hate this." She hated seeing him with another girl like that. Minato tries to explain the situation and tells Rua he was just helping her practice. But she got aggressive and asked how she can mention someone so casually when you are not close to that person. She told Minato that you are a million years too soon to be calling him Kazuma-kun, and insulted her by calling Minato a forehead curtain weirdo. Rua thought Minato was ugly under the bangs, but when she lifted her hair up, Rua was surprised to see how cute Minato looked underneath her bangs. Even she was taken aback by her cuteness. She asked Minato if Kazuma had seen what was under those bangs, but she couldn't understand what Rua was talking about. Out of nowhere, she pulled out a roll of duct tape and asked her to wrap it around her hair. Kazuma finally stepped in and told her to stop. He asked if she isn't supposed to be in the same group as her. She said Minato doesn't matter, since she is only a background supporting character. He defends Minato and tells Rua that the so-called background character trains like crazy, so she can hold her own. He warned Rua not to get in her way. She was shocked that Kazuma was defending a nobody. Rua then asked, "Why are you taking her side? Also, why won't he ever take her side, even though they are childhood friends?" But like a Chad, Kazuma says he only supports people who work really hard for their goals. He then reminded her they are no longer childhood friends and asked if she forgot what he had told her earlier. Ruo was shocked to hear it and asked if he was still mad at that silly joke from a few days ago. He then asked if she had any idea how much her jokes hurt people. Kazuma then reminded her that she is in high school now and she should know the difference between a joke and an insult. He then got right in her face and told her, "You are the one who needs to know your place." He then walked away and told Minato to come with him. This did extra emotional damage to Rue's ego and called him an idiot. She told Kazuma, "I'm way cuter than her. There's no way I would lose to a low-tier voice actress like her."